Third. So we talked about, I wanted to, let me pull up because we were messaging too much last night. Let me see what,
Back to progressive conservatives.
okay, yes, so,
He's running New
twenty
Balance.
twenty-five. So that's one, I know we do talk about like wanting to do like a series.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be really good, especially as I'm doing stuff in Georgia, you'll be doing stuff in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And I know you kind of more on the congressional level too. So what is the, like, I know we kind of talked about this in the last video, we'll tag that on there, but expectations for 2025. And let's focus more on, right now, let's just start with Republicans. What are Republicans, do you think Republicans are like, hey, here's what I need to do, here's what our priorities,
Are
because
you talking on a national level or like state?
national, let's start with national.
Okay.
Because I know we talked about last time, you were saying, hey, they're a little anxious about kind of
Dude, they're
this new administration coming
very
in.
anxious.
And dude, I kind of saw it a little bit in Tim Burchett. Dude, he was on with H1B1
Dude, Burchett's like,
or H1B visas.
dude, what's funny is like, if you have people like Burchett who like, I think Burchett kind of would love to like, I think he'd love to step away, like retire and like enjoy life. But I think he's like so particular about who that
You're telling me about
who
that.
that Knoxville like puts back in there, that like he won't step away until he's like certain of it, and it's just like, shoot. I mean, it's just weird. I mean, everybody's anxious right now, especially with the way the House is falling, because they're like, it can't be a one majority. It's got to be, two or three, so that because you're gonna have the rhinos that vote the other way. But
But like, so what are some bills that you're thinking, or that you've seen, or you've talked to them about,
Yeah.
where they're like, hey, like these three bills, these rhinos are gonna push us on. Like, we're not gonna be able, we may not be able to get that through, or we're gonna need some extra leverage.
So I think one bill, I can't remember what the bill number was, so I'm just gonna have to like go by the whatever
Right.
the policy was. But I really liked this one bill. It came, I think it was out like a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. Still kind of in its, or maybe it did get passed. I'll take a look. But it's the energy one.
Okay.
For like unleashing like not like nuclear's green energy, like
Okay, yeah.
stuff like that.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I think that one's been a big thing for me, because I think nuclear.
But do you think rhinos are gonna push back on that, or?
Yeah, I think rhinos are gonna push back on a lot of stuff.
But like, what part of like that bill would you say that like you think they're gonna kind of?
Nuclear energy, dude?
Really, you think like?
I don't like. I'm not joking, dude. Like that. Like that was the one thing I heard when I was working on that. When I did our, I did some government affairs, like kind of like small volunteer work there. When I first got here, and I remember talking to a couple of our Congress members, and it was like the nuclear energy was like that was where like people were like drawing the lines. Like, is that clean energy? Is it? I'm like,
are they like scared of like meltdowns and those kind of things?
Yeah, meltdowns. Just the fallout of like the radiation stuff. It's just like, I'm like, it's green, clean energy. I mean, at the end of the day, like nuclear.
Greener energy, right?
I mean, I think it is.
Or cleaner energy.
I think so. I think we should unleash our energy potential.
Well, it's interesting because like maybe Burchett and Hershberger and whoever down in Chattanooga have a completely different opinion on this. But I feel like they're definitely more in like, hey, like let's kind of like unleash it a little bit, because like we're big in nuclear here in East Tennessee.
Big.
Right?
I mean, Terrell Burchett's got Oak Ridge right there.
He's got Oak Ridge. I know there's the plant down in Chattanooga. They've got the one down in Georgia that they're building. So like, I don't know. I mean, I think it's interesting because I wonder. It's almost kind of like what's like, I know like people around here are kind of into that, but I wonder kind of like what would be the reason like other people wouldn't be into that. Because I've heard everybody say like, if you're really trying to bring down energy costs on a massive level, you're going to need to invest in nuclear.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to do some sort of fossil fuels to get through the short term.
That makes sense.
But so what else are you thinking that like?
There's a tax. There's like a tax. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, look it up.
Yeah.
Like a tax bill that they're gonna.
There's a tax bill somewhere.
What's do you know what it's on?
Actually, I do know what it's on. Sorry, I'm having to like. I'm like trying to remember where I put this thing at.
It's interesting. So is it I don't want to say a plus or a minus, but is it like a tax credit or like cutting taxes, or is it raising taxes? Bill, do you know?
I think it's low. I want to say lower.
I'm sorry, I feel like with Republicans, it's gonna be like a lowering of like some tax burden or something like that.
It was, that's what I was looking for right there. Okay. Sorry, I'm like trying to like.
I was like, maybe we can get, if
What
you
was-
probably watch like Joe Rogan, get like a young Jamie, get like a producer to look stuff up and like kind of post it up on the screen.
Oh wait, I know exactly what it is. I know where I gotta go with this. I know exactly where I gotta go with this. Yep, if I'm not mistaken, it's in here. Yep, there it is. Okay. So I'm sorry that this took a second. I was
No,
like,
you're good.
it was our so that sorry to get to it. Okay, so no, okay, I'm wrong. I can't find it. Okay, I'll find it later. But anyway, so it was a tax thing. I think it was lowering. Um, and it was just like it was like and I think it was almost either reform or an act or something. It was something small. But I think that'll be a big one. I think a lot of rhinos, like that's the reason it hasn't passed yet is because they're pushing back on it. So I think that's a big one.
Salt,
Maybe. I can't remember.
state and local tax, one. I know like people in the Northeast are really like, are really big, and I know there's kind of one in,
Yeah.
the first of Trump's administration where it was like, he wanted to, he wanted the exemption or whatever it was, cause you could like write off your state taxes on your federal or whatever it was.
Mhm.
And so like people in the Northeast were like, really wanted that, and it's like a lot of
Yeah.
Democrats and whatnot. But so like, so when you think of rhinos, who are you thinking specifically of? Like, that will cause issues?
Mm,
I mean, is there like oh, these guys here? Or is it pretty much like, pick and choose based off
I
of
think it's
the
pick and
vote?
choose based because, I mean, there's gonna be different things, you know what I mean? Cause like there are like some rhinos that like, they'll be like Republican bill, it's just easy to vote for, you're not gonna catch any flack from it. And then there's some that they're like, they'll push back on it or like lean the Democratic way on that. So, yeah, and it varies. Like there's not like a specific person or thing. It just, it varies. So you kind of have to look at it that way across the whole spectrum with it. Cause most of like the people that are super like, they're gonna vote conservative. They're, you're a yes vote essentially. So, I mean, those people are okay. But it alternates, and that's why you can't have the one or two. It's got to be like, typically you want 3 to 4 majority. That way you can avoid because there's always two. That's what.
So you think the holdup is going to mostly be in the House, or do you think it's going to be in the Senate?
House for sure.
Really?
I think we'll be fine in the Senate
You think you'll be able to kind of whip them in?
for sure.
Yeah.
I think the Senate's not a problem. House is the thing that makes me nervous, and honestly,
Like more bodies and.
yeah. Well, like when election night happened too, I would have if you told me that, I'd have been like, you're crazy, because I thought it was gonna be flipped. I thought it was gonna be like the House was gonna be fine, and then the Senate was gonna go to shit. That's what I thought was gonna happen.
Really?
Yeah, and it went the opposite way for me. I was like,
See, from a,
winning all my races in the House today.
so from the
Win
Democratic
votes?
side,
Okay.
I was thinking, I was like, we're gonna lose the Senate. Like, from the Democratic side, I was like, we're gonna lose it. We may be 49-51, maybe 48-52. Didn't think we'd be 53-47 or 54-46, something like that. Didn't think that was gonna happen. But I thought we might hold the House. And so it kind of made me didn't think too much about like what, like it made me kind of be like, okay, like what's the small stuff that Trump could kind of gain to get through. But now it's like wide open of like what you want to do as long as you can get the votes in there. But that's why it kind of makes me think like, so like, do you think so like, obviously like immigration is probably gonna be day one is what he's gonna focus on. What other, like what broad topics or broad subjects do you think he's gonna really kind of push? like we need to get done in the first year, cause I think he's only got 1 year, like I think he's got 1 year to pass everything.
You're
I
saying like,
think-
like for executive order, or like you're talking like?
Just legislation, executive order
Okay.
legislation, like I think he's got
So,
through the end of 25 before he can like.
so I agree with you
Okay.
completely. But I think that he knows that too.
You think so?
I genuinely think, I think we're gonna see the overhaul this year.
Okay,
That's dude, like, there's gonna be a lot of things that are voted for this year. Like, it'll be really hard to focus on. Like, that's one thing that scares me for like being here on our state chapter team here is that like when I'm working on state stuff, a lot of times when it's like there's only like one or two national issues, or I mean, there's always more, but you know what I'm saying, like the high topic issues. I think we're gonna see so much of it that like all focus is gonna go national this year. I
you
think,
think, what do you think there's gonna be any state stuff that's gonna kind of slide under the radar?
yeah.
Like what?
Well, like I'll be honest, like the RAINS Act that we're working on, school choice scares the shit out of me, dude. I really want to see it passed, but I just, you know, we went 13 for 15. You know, only lost 2 races or 3 races. I can't remember. 13 for 16, 30 is one of the two. But you know, we got our majority for school choice because the candidates that we were, you know, supporting have, you know, they're school choice people. That's why they were, you know, that's why they're there. So we have the majority. I'm excited for that to see if it goes through, but it still scares me because I feel like if we let stuff like with the Trump thing, if it becomes too much of a Trump's back like national thing, that's where I get scared about the state stuff because it's like I'm afraid it could easily go.
You think so what's, I guess, so like what specifically do you think is gonna kind of fall under?
Both those two things, RAINS and school choice, are my two that I think.
You think when you say fall, I guess when I say are gonna kind of go under the radar, you're saying they're gonna pass or they're not gonna pass? Or, cause I guess like when I think about it, I'm thinking like, what's gonna, I imagine that's what's gonna still pass,
yeah.
but it's not gonna get the attention.
So I mean, yeah, I mean it's not gonna get the attention. I don't think, I think school choice. I don't think RAINS would get attention even if it was like the only thing in the world. It's just not that sexy of a topic. It's like there's too much stuff with it, and it's like, you know, I think even to a liberal, like if you listen to what RAINS is, you're like, I'm for that, you know.
Yeah.
I'm
It's not super controversial.
yeah, it's like, you know, it's like, hey, like we don't want elected bureaucrats coming in and put regulations on business, you know. So like, it's gonna say no to that. So I think that one is gonna fly on the radar no matter what. School choice, though, I think if it, you know, if it was like a usual year, it's gonna be a big deal. You know, the Tennessee stands groups are gonna, you know, come out and be against it.
Tennessee stands.
Yeah, it's an organization. I won't go into it while we're doing this, but they're against the school choice thing.
Like a teachers union kind of.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, very teacher union talky. But and that's one thing. And that's why I want to talk to Steve and Amy. I'd love to do a pod with them one time because I mean I have to work on this. Like this is my my legislation coming up here is like school choice and RAINS. So I'd love to like actually talk to like Steve and Amy like that or you
Yeah,
know,
what
in
they
public
think.
school and like not in like a mean way, just like you know, tell me what you think. Like, is this? I mean, because Virginia's kind of in a I don't think they have ESAs. I don't think.
I don't know. I mean,
I'll look that up. I've only spent.
I mean, dude, honestly, with the way they kind of talk about, or at least Steven talked about it, you know, because they do the whole county, and I'm like, okay, if you're focusing just on the county for school choice, like, hey, like, you know, you're in Knoxville, like, we can go. You want to go to Farragut, you can go to Farragut. If you want to go to Austin East, you can go to Austin East, like, you know, and vice versa, you know, like really kind of on that level.
Yeah.
I think that could be interesting, but dude, like the schools there, man, like you know, tell me like we're the second poorest county in Virginia, you know, and it's
Yeah.
like none of the schools are good, you know, and it's like if anything, I think it's just gonna be a consolidation. I don't know if it's gonna like, because I guess like when I think of school choice, I think like you're gonna have a lot of, you're gonna get like 10, if you have 3 schools, you're gonna get 10, and they're gonna be smaller class sizes,
Sure.
and it's gonna be more focused, maybe more magnet schools, whatever, maybe maybe a little bit more private.
Yeah.
I think with them, dude, it might be consolidated, you know, because I'm just like,
It might be. I mean, I don't know. I'd love to talk to him about it. But yeah, it's weird. That's one thing that, you know, working on it it's been kind of nuts. I mean, like I said, the teacher union stuff is like that. Like those talking points are different because like I said, from them, it's why I want to talk to them about it. It's like I want to see the public school side of it, like also because like I've talked to some public school and obviously like most of them are probably not gonna be for it because it's like they think it like takes money away from them and stuff. So we'll see how that goes. But
I've heard that the like the rural schools, they're gonna be the ones who like might actually be pushing back on school choice, not just, and like the bigger cities are going to be
right.
like they're gonna be for it, but the smaller schools, like where they're at, they're gonna be like, no, like, we don't want this.
Yeah,
It didn't really do anything for them, like I'm saying, but like,
Yeah.
here in Knoxville, like, you've got a ton of schools. But I don't know, because it's like I've heard people say that, but it's like, I don't know if that's actually gonna stand up once you put it into reality, you know?
yeah.
So with school choice and the reins, those are the two big ones that you think will do fine.
Yeah.
What other ones do you think, or
I don't know. There's really not a lot like too much like I mean, I think Collins one of those things. I mean, I'd love to. It'd take forever for it to get
I
put past. But
was thinking about that, and it's like that's gonna be a hurdle, you know?
dude, my God, dude.
But it's
I've
because
worked
it's
so-
because of who you're fighting against, you know?
I've worked so hard on that thing, dude. So I've had so many bad phone calls from it too, but I've had so many good phone calls. That's probably the funniest thing. I had an event one time that had like valid like doctors come in that were like, there was a couple that were like four, they had that, that's where they have to work. They're doctors, right? I was like, bro, wear your white coat to like to my event. Like, wear the white coat.
Wear your white coats so you can speak on some authority.
Like, well, while the execs are in the back of the room, they got sent to like spy on me. I'm like, wear your white coats.
So why do you
That's
think,
actually a cool event, dude.
why do you think,
We had 24 million people at that event.
you're telling me, like, you've had some, like, one that had like 10,000 people or 1,000?
So I had so as far as like the event venue, right? So like at the venue, like I've had my two most successful events. I had one in September of 23. Yeah, September 23, I had an event that had 250 people at it.
Yeah.
That was cool. We had WJHL come in, like it was our, it was our Reignite the American Dream Summit here. And then in April of this year, because I was like, they asked me when I wanted to work, and I was like, can I do a con event? So I did some marketing, dude. I took it up there to right there in the backyard of the Ballad CEO Alan Levine's,
Yeah.
like right there in his backyard, because like we already had tension anyway from conversations. But I put it in John City right in his backyard, and I was like, I called like I found the venue. We stuffed like 130, 40 people. And the media came, and like WGHL, they did like all like I had lawmakers.
That's the one that you're telling me that went viral?
Yeah, but apparently I didn't know about it. So like I had lawmakers there that were like with us, that stood with us on the con thing. So like we would sit there talking, like they got through their like the TV stuff. Went to WJHL, like it's done, right? And they like post it to whatever. And so apparently I was like the number one like healthcare related like event.
Hmm.
Like in the country.
Really?
Like for the month of April.
That's cool.
So this random this random dude from this random 23-year-old.
You're worth the coin, dude.
And it's like, and then like I got a call from our state director, and she was like, hey, she's like, so I just want you to know like your event ended up getting a bunch of clicks, and like people have like are reading the article that like that you talked about that you did, and like the event that you talked about. I was like, really? I was like, was it good? She goes, well, 24 million people have viewed it, and I was like,
That was good.
yeah, that's solid. I'll take that. I'll take that all day. But I was just, Colin's such a good issue in our area because so many people care about it. Like I could probably be the devil and like have people like supporting if I was against it, you know. But repelling the con, but it's just like you said, it's a hurdle, man, dude.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
such a hurdle.
I used to focus so much on healthcare, and I could go like with you. I could go on and on.
Oh no, I mean it's
One of those
3
for
hours,
me. It
dude.
was like it's what you have to do to kind of get it to the point where it's like, okay, like this is now going to the floor and we're gonna vote on it.
Yeah.
Like it's so fucking hard. Like it's like you're saying, like everybody wants it to change, but it's like getting it from there to, and just what you do as a job,
Yeah.
getting it from there to mobilizing, to putting pressure on the legislatures, and then getting it done. Like that's the hard part.
Oh, dude.
And it's like,
Well,
it's like when they say, oh, we pulled everybody on gun control, and it's like it's 89%. And it's like, well, yeah, but then why is it not passing? And it's like, well, because you ask people what they think,
Yeah.
and now it's like, okay, well, now we have to get interest groups, and we have to get public policy. We got to get all these people kind of on board to get it done.
And you get like the monopoly groups. One of our lawmakers. I can't say it. I wish he was here to say it the way he says it. But Halsey, he was talking the way he framed it, like because he's the one that like kind of like was the pioneer of like the bill. Like he was like head fronting it. championing this bill. And he brought it like a burger board. He was like, it's like, like show up like, like you want it to be like free market, right? Like, yeah, I'm trying to sell a hamburger. But he said, you got to go to the burger board, because that's what Collins essentially done. So yeah, you go to the monopoly, you go to the burger board, and they tell you what you can price it at, what you could do, and you're not gonna be able to do it. He said you come to find out that like they own,
I was gonna say,
like
the
they
corporate
own and have
control
stock
of it, yeah.
in the burgers across the way. So it's funny.
It reminds me of PBMs, the PBM reform that
Yeah.
they've been trying to do on the national level.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, like, these PBMs are supposed to be acting on the benefit of the consumer, but it's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, but did you see that, like, or not did you see, but it's like, oh yeah, but like who owns the PBMs and stuff? And it's like, oh, the big insurance companies. And it's like, oh, so like that's the reason why I can't get this medication. I gotta go through all these hoops and do all this other kind of stuff to get this drug that my doctor says I need. And it's like, and it's just all that kind of corporate control. But dude, like, I mean, I've got other friends who are in the healthcare space, and they're like, man, insurance companies fucking rule. Insurance companies, big hospital systems, they decide what's gonna happen. And everyone else just kind of has to play in their part.
Oh, gotcha.
So why do you think 2025 is like the year that all this stuff is going to kind of come down the pipe?
Except from the Trump, right? Are you talking about from Trump or?
Yeah. So just like why do you feel like 2025 is like the year, like not much can happen in 2026 just because people are going to be campaigning, or?
That's A. But I mean B. I mean, I don't think you'd have time after.
You don't think so?
I mean, do you? Like that's my thing.
I mean, I guess like the way that I look at it is it's like you want to get everything done, and then it's like then you can just go campaign and do all your other kind of stuff. Like it's kind of like with the budget,
Yeah,
right? And
But you're not campaigning again.
Well, he's not.
Yeah.
But it's like I still think like if I'll tell you the Democratic perspective. Democratic perspective basically looks at 2028, and we're like, or 2026, and we say there's 1 or 2 seats we might be able to pick up.
Okay.
But we're still down like 2 or 3. So like Senate is basically off the board.
Yeah, Senate's going Republican.
And I think I saw people saying like we're not even gonna have another shot at it till like 2030.
Dude,
so people are like all on the House.
I think 12 years.
You think 12 years?
I don't think we'll. I don't think the Democrats will see the White House or the Senate for 12 years.
Really?
Yeah. I think we'll see 3. We'll see 3 different elections.
So this is one of the other videos. I think I did have like the next one that we're gonna do.
I'll be in my mid-30s the next time I see like a Democratic president.
Really?
I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong, but like.
So this is one of the things I wanted to do. As the video was way too early, 2028. Like who do you think is gonna?
Way too early. Looking way too early. Top 25.
Who's gonna be the guy? And I don't want to talk about it too much here, but it's like, is Vance gonna be the front runner, or is okay? But then like who on the Democrat side? Who's gonna challenge Vance? Because I think even though Vance,
you almost gotta go Newsom, don't you?
Dude, I don't think they're gonna go Newsom. I
didn't think so either, but
I think he's just too much baggage. I think he will get a position in the next Democratic administration, but I don't think it'll be vice president or president.
Let's get Tim Walz to run a pick six, man, and
I said this. I think I told you. Maybe I told you this. I was kind of like okay with Tim Walz, like once he was kind of out there, but dude, he kind of like fell flat on his face. It was the same thing with Kamala. It's like they came out really strong, and then it was just kind of like after the convention, maybe like a few weeks after, it was like flat. And it was kind of like they lost all their luster. Now, I wanted 2 other people to run. I wanted Mark Kelly down in Arizona. I thought he could have been way more competitive. But dude, I just, when I look at the map, I'm like, Democrats are going to put all their effort in 2026 in the House. They're going to get that, and they're basically just going to, make Trump non-existent for the last 2 years. I mean, it's going to be they're basically going to follow the exact same playbook that they did in 2004. They lost in 2004, and then in 2006, they started kind of regaining control over some of the seats. And then in 2006, or in 2008, you have Obama, and then you have this huge surge. And I think that's when they'll see something. But dude, like I said, they're done till 2030. Like in the Senate, like done. I don't think the Democratic Party is, at least even on the state level, especially in the South and some of these other places you have to contend, they're like non-existent. Like they're like I was talking about this and when I was talking about, I think I was maybe talking to Austin about this. He's like, oh, I've got friends who do GOP and whatnot down in Georgia, and he's like, why are most people you spend time with and you help out and stuff like that down in Georgia GOP? Because I'm like, Democratic Party in Georgia is like just dumb. Like they just do not work. Like they were sitting here trying to decide whether or not their chair should be paid or not.
Like their party chair?
The state chair.
Yeah.
And so, they're trying to decide whether or not they should do that. And
Dude, that's crazy.
they have to go through their whole bylaws. And they're like, we're not gonna get anything till the summer. And I'm like, hey, dummy, guess what? You just wasted 6 months when you're supposed to be building, a coalition. You're supposed to be doing all this stuff. And it's just like, you're an idiot.
Dude, I love our Republican state party chair here, dude. So that's funny, but
Dude, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, when people are like, oh, like, do you think I think Ossoff will win unless Brian Kemp runs. I think he could lose.
all Ossoff?
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
I think because dude, here's the thing. Brian Kemp is like 60% approval rating down in
true.
Georgia. He beat Stacey Abrams by like 5 or 6 points in a
pretty soundly. I mean, like it was.
He beat especially the second time he beat her pretty good, and like Georgia as a state is doing pretty well, and so like just leave it alone. Like don't stir the pot, and you'll be okay. And
leave
like,
it alone.
and
leave
I think
it alone.
I think Brian Kemp,
Marietta, man.
I think Brian Kemp, dude, he has positioned himself to where it's like, if Trump doesn't do good in 2026, or as Trump fails in 2025, I'm gonna run against him. If Trump does good in 2025, I'm gonna run with him. And then I think 2026 is wide open. I don't think Ossoff is gonna get any help from the state party. And that's just the way it is. And it's like, he's on his own and he's gonna be fighting. And I think people like Warnock more than they like Ossoff. Because, the whole preacher thing and, a lot more minorities are obviously gonna vote for Warnock than they go for Ossoff. But I don't know, man. I'm not seeing it. And I think you could even see it go the other way in 2026, where Republicans are gonna pick up even more. But
yeah.
I don't know.
That's interesting though.
I think that's their game. They're like, look, we need 5 seats. Who we trying to hit? Who are we trying to go after?
Yeah, that's
who are we gonna win? But it's even like, they're not even gonna decide their DNC chair till like February, March.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, what?
And they
February,
still have
March,
people throwing their names in. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, this should be like wrapping up, And like they don't even have that. And that's why I'm just like, they're just gonna fucking fail. Because they're not like, one thing I've always said about Republicans, and I think you probably agree. Maybe they're all over the place on policy, but when it comes to cohesion and working as a unit, I think they work way better than Democrats work as a unit.
As a unit?
Like it's kind of like what you're saying with Republicans.
I think I had, because the way that I saw it was, I thought, and maybe it's a new thing, and that's kind of what you're saying there, because I've always been used to like Republicans agreeing on Republicans agreeing on 99% of the values, but then they treat the 1% like 99%, and then the Democrats agree on 1%, and they use the 99% and do it the opposite way. I always thought the Democrats were better at like putting aside the differences and like doing that.
But as far as staying on message and
It was on message,
all that kind of stuff.
for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Like as far as like if we're talking the cookie cutter Republican
Yeah,
politics,
if you just listen to their press conferences or whatever it is,
abortion,
it's like, hey, we're all the same.
guns, low taxes,
Right, but it's
abortion.
like, well, what do you want that gun law to be? And it's like, like, hold on, we don't know.
Hold up.
Well, and I've always said, I still think the Democrats do not do well as a minority party. And I think Republicans do not do well as a majority party. And I think we kind of see that a little bit.
I agree.
And it's kind of like what you're saying, right? Like, like they're gonna fight about that 1%, 2% thing. And, the Democrats, like they did this past election or this past cycle, they all, when it came time to vote all against McCarthy, they did it. When it came time to vote all against all these other people, they did. Like they will act as a unit. But you start asking them what they think, it's like all over the place.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think, and I mean in Georgia, like as far as on the state level in Georgia, I think I don't think there's gonna be too much kind of going on. Like maybe it's just because it's like a one like Tennessee and Georgia are basically one party states to where it's kind of like there's really not much. Um, there's not much kind of like left to do. Like if they want to do school choice, Republicans in Tennessee could do school choice. It's gonna be hard, but like they could do it if they really want to. They've got the people to do it. And I just feel like in Georgia they kind of gotten everything. I think probably the biggest thing that they're gonna fight over is whether I mean literally is what they're gonna do with the surplus. Like that's all it is. They're gonna get a surplus and it's like where are we gonna use it? We're gonna do this, and that's what they're gonna argue over.
Oh, yeah.
So do you think so? Tennessee votes for their governor, next governor, and that's 2026, right?
Mhm.
So do you think we're gonna see a little bit of that on the state level?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, do you think like some state senators are gonna try to like kind of make it play? I know you talk a lot about.
Kind of
like,
get to governor?
Well, you talk about like
Dude.
Jason Zachary, right? Wasn't he someone that you thought might be kind of
I think
either
he-
taking
I
Tim
think
Burch's spot or?
I think he'd be interested in either. I think he would be more interested in Jacob's job. If Glenn Jacobs
Oh,
was
really?
to, was
So
to go.
not kind of mayor.
Yeah, but dude, I'll be honest, dude. Like some of the voices that I've heard and some of my connections, I'm like, dude, like this governor race is gonna be, dude. There's so much that could potentially happen to people that are interested in it now that I'm like, dude, it's gonna be wide open.
So give me an example. So you think, I know you
So,
think
I
Kane's
think-
gonna run.
I think Kane or Marcia.
I know you keep thinking Marsha's gonna come back to the state. I know we talked about
I
this.
think she goes governor. I don't know if she does or not, but I think whichever one of them goes governor, right? So like if Marcia runs for governor, I think if Marcia runs for governor, she's gonna clean the field. Nobody's gonna try that.
Yeah, I mean, she's too big.
Nobody would oppose her, and God bless you if you do. But I think, if she were to run, I think Jacobs would support her, and then I think he would potentially go Senate. Because Senator Kane would be badass.
Yeah,
Dude.
that'd be kinda cool.
It'd be hardcore, bro. Dude,
Slamming everybody on the.
Bro, dude, I would have a majority of the Senate people that I like have in my phone, dude. I'd be like, bro, I'm gonna make a bill happen tomorrow. Like somewhere, like you're gonna see some
Hey,
bill
can we
get.
put in there, give like Josh Long like $100,000 for the next year?
Yeah,
Or
just like
10 years.
Like I've got like I got like I think what is it? I'll text like 20, like I got like 15, 20 senators. See if I can get a majority.
Yeah.
You ever see some random bill dude come across? It's like, what'd you do?
Or no, when you get those, I saw.
Lobbied from my couch. Like,
I saw Burchett do this for like some kid who graduated here at Webb. He
Yeah.
was up there and he was like reading like I want to congratulate this kid and blah 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 blah. Like that's what they'll do for you. They're like I want to congratulate Josh Wallen for being so amazing and great and blah 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 blah
Write
blah.
that into the bill, dude.
And then I'm just sitting here and I'm like he owns you. Like he owns
100%.
you.
Like, they started like texting these senators. I really think it'd be funny. Like if he goes, I would have a majority. So like in my phone, bro, I'd have the Senate majority in my phone.
But you don't think you're gonna see any battles in? I mean, I'm assuming.
No, so the
I know.
battles-
Who's is it? Lee? Is he the current governor?
Girder, but so when
But he
comes
didn't.
out-
He didn't come through the state
I think-
Senate or House or anything.
I think John Rose runs for governor too.
Okay.
He wants to. He's already made it very evident, and he's like raised money for it.
Okay.
Like he's raised like $7-9 million for it.
Really?
So my thing is this: I think if Jacobs runs, Marcia doesn't run. I think Rose tries to beat Jacobs because I think Rose is going to look at it like I've got the money, got $9 million.
Where's he from?
His area is it's like eastern Middle Tennessee, and like I think kind of almost
Is
get
it
to
like
Nashville.
Williamson County?
No, it's like almost Nashville. It's like Old Hickory, so like
It's like
part of Rutherford, I think.
it's just like what northeast Nashville?
Yeah, his and Desjardins like districts are weird.
Oh, okay.
But he's
Is he the new one? The new.
I don't know.
Rep.
I think he's been there for a minute.
Okay.
I don't know, but he wants to run for it though. I don't think he could even be. I don't think he could beat Jacobs if it was a showdown between him and Jacobs because that would clear the field and be those two. I don't see him beating Jacobs. I think
Like too
Jacobs.
big of a name identity.
Yeah, I think Jacobs is name identity, and Jacobs has been going around the whole state
Yeah.
the past like 2 years doing all these like. He spoke at like he spoke at like a couple things out of state too, like
Well, I know you went to one of those things in Nashville, right?
dude that dinner.
It was some dinner or
Dude,
whatever.
it was
And then you came back for a Tennessee game.
It was a lunch, bro, dude. When I tell you, dude, Oh my God, bro. What Tennessee game was that came back for?
I don't remember, but you were like traffic is ass on the way because you were like coming back in and you got
Oh, we
all
played
that
Mississippi
traffic.
State that day.
Man, I might have been Mississippi State.
That lunch was bougie, bro, dude.
Was it?
Like, dude, it was like,
I mean, you gotta spend some money. I mean,
well,
you know,
it
he's
was like,
whining and dining.
well, it wasn't even my money. It's like these like the.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. He is.
Like I was just a sponsor, bro. Like I was a sponsor, like me, like I didn't, but it wasn't a lot. But like, dude, I was like, dude, like some of those donors, dude, like even if they had like an ugly daughter, you're like thinking about it. You're like, it's like you get like a house in Jupiter, Florida. Like I'm like, it's like, but,
He's got a country club membership, and or there's always the meme around here where it's like,
bro, like I'm about to be a stay-at-home dad, bro.
there's a meme that kind of goes around here where it's like when you're talking to some old 80-year-old widow and she says she's got 500 acres that's never been hunted on since her husband died, and the guy's like, he's like I'll do it.
Dude, that's what it felt like, dude. Because like I'll be like I could go around these like donor meetings. And can we just I want to make like donor daughters hot again, dude.
Yeah.
Like can we like please make them hot again? Like no, but dude, like anyway, so like dude, it was like crazy bougie. But yeah, Jacobs got there and it was like it was
So what are the factions in the Tennessee Republican Party? I honestly, dude, I couldn't even tell you what it is in the Democratic Party here in Tennessee. Like, I'm not plugged into any of these people because they don't do anything. Like, they're not super involved or big. It's all basically just progressives.
Yeah.
But like here in Tennessee, like what if you were to say like, okay, you got this group, you got this group, you got this group.
Yeah.
Does it kind of mirror what you see on the national level, or is Tennessee a little bit more unique on that?
Like what do you mean? Sorry.
So like I guess like in Georgia, like you got your Trumpers.
Yeah.
You got kind of like your Brian Kemp guys, kind of more your just typical Chamber of Commerce people.
Sure.
You got more of kind of like your Tea Party guys like McCormick,
Sure.
That's kind of his lane. And then you just kind of have like kind of more of your soft. I kind of like to say like your I don't want to say Metro Atlanta, but basically the Republicans who live within the city limits.
Yeah. I know.
You got like those kind of guys, and so like those I'd probably say typically lines up well with what you see on the national level. Maybe the numbers are a little different. I think probably there's more kind of middler people than you
I
see
think
maybe on the
here,
national level.
I think here there's not a lot of factions. I think most people in Tennessee, like you're either
They're just kind of like a Trump
super,
Republican or like a Chamber of Commerce.
super Trumper, or like you said, maybe a light Chamber of Commerce. You know, I mean, Democrats are just Democrats here. There's not really like a lot of change there, but like for the most part, you're either like super Trump or you're like some Chamber of Commerce, like light.
So like Marshall's obviously like a Trumper and Haggerty is, right?
Yeah.
So then like what about Glenn Jacobs and some of those guys?
I mean, Glenn's a big Trump guy. Jacobs is a Trump guy. I mean, I don't really know.
So you think like basically everyone's gonna kind of stay on that Donald Trump vein in Tennessee? Like I know
I think so.
when during the first time you had
I just think-
Haslam and Coker
Trump
or
turned
Corker.
the Republican Party, like Trump turned it into Trump.
Well, I know, but that's the thing is it's like none of those other guys left. Like they're still there, and so I don't know if they're gonna try to make a play or if like they see like Trump kind of maybe fucking up in 2025 and they're like, hey, we're gonna make a play, and you kind of see something shift, where maybe Marshall's like, hey, I got the Senate seat, I'm gonna stay in the Senate seat instead of maybe trying to risk something on the state level. I didn't know something like that would happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's that theory that stuff like that can happen, and it could very well could. I don't know.
Because it kind of goes back to what I was saying with Kemp, is where he's like, hey, like he's kind of positioned himself where he's like, I can go this way if I need to, I can go this way if I need to, like,
And it's like
he's kind of
he's got more landmines that he can like.
Yeah, he can kind of position himself to where it's like if he wants the Senate, as long as he doesn't as long as his maid's not pregnant by him, then
Hey, Mark Green.
he'll be okay. As long as he didn't get somebody pregnant, I think he'll be okay.
Right.
But that's why I'm just kind of like I don't know how any of that stuff works, man. Like here in like Tennessee, it's like it's almost just kind of like if you get the nod, you're like good to go.
Oh yeah, if you get the nod, bro.
If the power players are like, yeah, I'm kind of saying Marsha that wants to come down or go wherever she wants to go.
Some of that Haslam money that's got some strings attached to it.
Dude, that's the thing is, I'm like, I always think about that, and I'm like, I know Haslam's kind of a Republican, but it's like I've always wondered if he's going to kind of put some money into some other groups to kind of see.
He's not like the
happen.
Republican that like.
Why do you think he ran for governor?
I mean,
do you think it was just kind of like
yeah,
Like, did you think he was
Yeah.
ever into politics, or do you think it was kind of like, hey, just, we want someone to go out there and do this?
I think that's kind of what it was.
You think so?
Easy to get in. Jimmy has some son,
Yeah.
all that cash. I mean, but he didn't really do a lot for us. Kind of like he just wasn't a good governor, in my opinion. I mean, I would say Bredesen was a better governor. He's a Democrat.
Yeah.
This should be being fair. I mean, I'll be a buck.
But so do you think he's just kind of like, hey, I've got the money, I'll be
Yeah.
governor kind of thing?
Yeah, I think Randy Boyd was going to be in the same position, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That was his to lose, man. He let Diane Black take that away from him. Dude.
He's someone who I thought could do something too, like, I'm like, he's
It was his
stayed
to
involved,
lose. It was his to lose. Governor was Randy Boyd's to lose, and Diane Black got him into that mudslinging contest, and then Bill Lee just kind of just sat right there, and then just got slid in.
So do you think like Randy's gonna try to come back and do something?
No, I think he enjoys it at UT, and I would hope we keep him there. I like him as the president of UT.
Yeah. Or is he president or because he's president? Okay. I mean, I thought he does good. I thought I think that's where he needs to be. But that's what I mean, man. It's like but it's kind of like, so like, what vein would he be in? Would he be in that kind of like Chamber of Commerce kind of group? Like
Trump.
like probably where
I think
like
he's a Trumper.
you think so?
He'd stay in the Trump vein
So
for sure.
when you think about like, do you see a way for, like, I guess, like, if you were to put yourself in a Democratic shoes, where would you try to like break off, Republicans and Democrats, or where would you try to split the Republican Party on the state level? Like, where do you think are some of the more kind of divisive issues for Republicans? And maybe even the national level.
They're breaking them from the Trump stuff, or like, what do you?
Like, I guess, like, if you were to kind of say, like, okay, here's this group of voters or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're all Trumpers or Chamber of Commerce. There's these two groups, whatever it is. How would you try to like factionalize the group even more if you were a Democrat? Like, do you feel like abortion is like one where it's like, oh gosh, like this group is here, that group's there?
No, I think for them, stuff like school choice, because school choice, dude, like that was a big like break in the Republican Party here in Tennessee, dude. That I saw like, it started splitting into the teachers union and people that wanted it and XYZ and like.
But you think like the teachers union would be more Democratic, right?
Yeah, but I mean, they were fighting, and so like you get some Republicans in there that would just be like, and so I think stuff like that. So like school choice would be one. That's been the biggest one I think that I'd see, especially in Tennessee. That's how if I was faction, education, maybe healthcare, but I don't know. It's kind of.
But it's kind of like we talked about. It's like that's kind of like a.
I think most people are for it on our side of it. Like I think it's such a large majority.
As long as you don't own the hospitals.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're not Alan Levine, I don't care. Just how do I get that check?
So what about on the national level?
Huh?
What about on the national level? Where do you think you could split?
National level, us?
Yeah, like if I was Hakeem Jeffries, what issues would I really try to force to split those rhinos away from the rest of the Republicans?
Good question. I feel like there's some platform issues that you could do it with. I'm just trying to think of what it was. What was the new platform? We just got it this year.
I mean, obviously, it may not be like civil rights or voting rights or any of that kind of stuff.
But
I maybe see some stuff with energy, like you said, like nuclear or not.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if there was anything else.
I mean, it's hard to faction it out, like to figure out how you would faction it.
And maybe it's like there's some bill or issue that we're just like not seeing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, if I was Mike Johnson, being like okay, like that's right there. That's how you do it,
Yeah.
Like I honestly think like leadership positions would be one that like I think we may see some people kind of going one way or the other. Maybe not necessarily in the House, in the committee slots, but I could see it like speaker. Maybe even majority leader and those kind of things.
Sure.
But even then, it's kind of like, because I mean, but it's like, what value are you really getting out of that? Like, I think one of the things that Democrats didn't do in 2024, or I guess it was 2023, when Kevin McCarthy was kind of coming in, was like, they didn't exploit that as much as I think they should have, or when Mike Johnson came in, like, I think they should have done more on that. But like, I don't think they're gonna do anything this time. Like if I was looking at with what Mike Johnson is doing, and some people saying they're gonna kick him out and put someone new in. I think maybe you even said that, where it's like, I look at that and I'm like, okay, like how, like I would, do something like that would destabilize the group and create maybe more of the Freedom Caucus to kind of be mad at some of the other groups or whatever,
Right.
but it's like, I don't, I think maybe because it's like, it's very hierarchical, where it's like, okay, well, if they get rid of Mike Johnson, okay, then who are they gonna put in there, like maybe they're gonna put in, Scalise or, some of these other guys. And it's like, you're not really changing much, you're just kind of being divisive. And I don't know if Democrats really wanna kind of do something like that.
Yeah.
That's what I mean, dude, they're just pussies, dude, and it kind of irritates me a little bit.
I'll say it. That helps.
So, I don't know, they don't really seem to kind of wanna fight, And that's honestly one of my biggest things, where it's like, I think there's places where you can really put Republicans' feet to the fire, but you're just like not, like Democrats don't wanna do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, final thoughts on 2025. What do you think? How do you think Republicans are gonna come out stronger, weaker? Do you think China's gonna invade? What do you think is gonna be like this time,
I
literally
think-
this time in 2025?
So this time, 2025, I think we're gonna look back and be like, I think the Republicans are gonna come out strong. I think we're gonna see a lot of changes. I think it's gonna end up working out better, because I think in a way, like it's that time for that life, for our life cycle to go through it. It's like it's our time to see that, like, the Republicans come through, get a little prosperous thing kind of going. So I think we'll see
I
that.
think it kind of ebbs and flows.
Yeah, I mean, it's just part of it. We'll see that the business cycle is kind of getting back to a restart too, which is nice. Dear God, looking forward to seeing that market. And certain things. So that's all gonna be great to go with. Loving it. Will China invade? Maybe. I don't know.
You don't know
We'll see with these drones. These New Jersey drones, man.
where. So,
Mr. Russia over here.
what do you think is going to be Trump's biggest accomplishment and biggest failure from the first year?
Biggest accomplishment. Shoot, dude, that's tough.
I got one. I think it'll be.
What are you rocking with on accomplishment?
I think there's going to be an immigration bill passed.
You think immigration's gonna get okay?
I don't know if I'm not saying it's going to get fixed, but like, what's it, HR1
Yeah,
or HR2?
I think it's two.
Like, I think something like that's going to pass. And I think Trump's going to be like, hey, I want that, this, and this to be passed, and then the rest of it, you guys figure it out.
Oh,
And I think that's gonna be one where, like, and honestly, dude, like, I think at this point, I do not know. Like, I think Democrats are gonna be like, do it, like, please, like, we're not gonna fight you on it, we don't have any response to it.
I figured that, and they really can't because there's so much that's happened.
Yeah, there's just so much shit going on.
So I think immigration will for sure, that's one. Another success that I think we could see is, I'm really excited to, and this is just kind of the surface level that we all talk about, but I said it earlier, really excited to see this market, man, dude. I think that's gonna be just a nice breath of fresh air to see the market.
Do you think that's gonna happen even if they do tariffs and things like that?
I mean, it's not gonna be like perfect by any means, but I think it's gonna look better. There's gonna be promise to it, Like, I'll be able to see the business cycle, like, from a standpoint of, like, not guessing, because, like, with Biden's administration, like, where everything, all that inflation, like, you're assuming it's rising the whole time, but it's like, they're kind of guessing, like, does this thing stop? Is it break? Is it gonna,
Kind of had about a year or so where it's kind of like you don't
I'm
know.
gonna fuck myself, like, like, what am I,
So what about failures?
failures, man, that's a good one.
I think deportation is gonna be a huge failure.
I think deportation also be a huge failure. I'm also interested, I think this one for me, it's either gonna be a success or a failure. And I've talked about it on the Democratic side, but I think abortion, the way, I know he's like passing off the states, but, I feel like,
Do you think it's gonna kind of come back towards like where Republicans are on them?
yeah, I think it can, like, you know what I'm saying? I think it's something that he could either have a massive success on, getting to the states like it should be and everything, or it could fail. Like, I mean, it could be like something that he drops the ball on completely. And we just look like, dicks, but, but I think the deportation is also a big fail. That was on my mind earlier today. I think it'll be a quick fail.
But do you think so?
I mean, I can't imagine it would be a long fail.
I mean, I guess like I think it'd be long because it would be like he'll fuck something up, and then he's gonna be kind of like trying to like reverse it a little bit.
Yeah,
Like for example, say you send 10,000 people who are born in the US or families where, you know, you kind of got mixed immigration status. And you send, like you're saying, you gotta send them all back. Like I can totally see it's one of those where it's like, he's gonna do that, and he's gonna send 1,000 criminals back or whatever it is, or like 1,000 murderers or whoever it is. And it's gonna be one of those where he's like, okay, well, now that they're over there in Guatemala, I gotta get them back, you know, and it's gonna be like,
right.
you know, okay, how do I do that, you know? And I think you could see something like that. I think the other failure, I think it could be tariffs, just because he has so much unilateral, you know, kind of
Yeah.
over that, but I think you'll see some, but I don't think you're gonna hit 20%.
No.
No, or was it 15 or 20 that he said he wanted to
20.
do 20? I think you can maybe see like 5 or something small, but I don't know if you're gonna see some crazy numbers kind of come out. You know, I think you're gonna see tariffs, and I think it's gonna really kind of throw the ball into. I think basically what Trump does is he does something and he kind of throws it out there and he says, okay, now that I put this thing in play, you guys have to go and fight and figure it out. It's like with abortion, like, hey, I did this abortion thing. Now it's for you guys, states, politicians, whoever it is, to really kind of fight about it instead of just kind of sitting in this weird status quo. And I think it's gonna be the same thing with tariffs, where he's gonna kind of do a little bit and he's gonna send it back. And maybe he won't do 5%, maybe he will do 20%.
Yeah.
And it'll be one of those where it's gonna be like, it's gonna get talked about, and then, you know, maybe a Vance comes in, it'll get down to like 5 or 10, you know?
Yeah.
It'll be like one of those kind of things where it's like he sends it out there and then it kind of overcorrects. So, but yeah, so that's what, we'll see, we'll see. I guess what we got, was it January 20th? I think it's MLK Day when he's getting, inaugurated, so,
It's January 20th.
so it's what, 20 days,
I got
21 days?
tickets if you wanna go.
Really, you're going?
I'm not, I don't know yet. I got tickets if I want to.
Well, we'll see. Actually, I think I'll be in Asheville. Abby and I are going to, we got a hotel, it's cheap. We're doing like a last trip in Asheville, since we're probably not gonna do this thing for a good period of time. Sweet.
Or you can edit this part up.
Yep. But yeah, so we're gonna go to Asheville and